Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday to you all. Happy Monday to you. I hope you all had an amazing weekend. Today's topic for those just leaning into today, it's called inconvenience. Inconvenience. So, good morning, everybody. Good morning to you all. Happy Monday to you. Hopefully, you all had a great weekend. It looks like Amy Kane's doing something in that kitchen. She's getting geared up. I bet it's some secret potion, something to get your body ready to rock and roll and show off your muscles. I knew it. Amy, are you sauteing anything? Are you sauteing anything, Amy Kane? Amy, if you ever get a chance, though, you got to watch one of her videos. She said the word saute. I love her because she went in uncomfortable. She did a Zoom or she did a Facebook Live or recording, and she said the word saute, I think close to probably 97 times during that she just
500, but
it
it's
was
fine.
it was really good
It was the
though. I
word of
love
the
the video.
week. That's why.
I love it. I love it. Hats off to those that I saw on Facebook, did some Facebook Lives over the weekend. Some of you felt uncomfortable. Um, you didn't see the Facebook video that Bryce and I did. He now is my new actor. He is my new actor, and we had so much fun, Millie, doing this little video. So now him and I are like doing a bunch of different videos, and it's kind of been entertaining. We're role playing where he's pretending he's the real estate agent while he's like doing schoolwork in kindergarten and just pretending he's me. So I don't know. We came up with it over the weekend, and we did a couple more videos of it, and so it's been entertaining for him and I. So I appreciate everybody's likes and supports on that. So good morning to you, Michelle and Rebecca and John Hart. John Hart, amazing guest you brought up to us with Amberly yesterday or Monday or Friday. Can't even get my days taken care of. So thank you very much, John, for introducing Michelle and I to her and all of us on Friday. What's up, Rhonda? Good morning to you, Rhonda Cat. Good morning to Alicia. Good morning to you all. So good morning, Kevin. Good morning to those on here this morning. So today's topic is inconvenience. So let's get ourselves started. Good morning, everybody. My name's Coach Brock Zevan, real estate coach, life coach, business coach, and a DAD. And it was a DAD weekend. We had soccer. We had the pool. We went swimming. It was beautiful out this weekend. I feel like I got a little sunburn. I feel like my eyes are like coming out of my head because pollen is at its like. How many of you are pollen? How many of you put a 7 in the chat? Allergic to pollen? Put a 7 in the chat. Man. And then you take medicine, and it's kind of like if you take the medicine, it like kind of dopes you up, and then you're kind of like in a loss for about I think about a week or two. Um, so my eye's been really bothering me. Brielle's eye's been bothering her. It's an inconvenience. It's an inconvenience, and how ironic that's the topic today. Good morning, Jasmine. So guys, let's get ourselves started on the if I could talk on the affirmation, my affirmation. Ladies and gentlemen, say, I always like us when we come off of mute. We come off of mute and everybody says it together. I like hearing everybody's like voices, and then I try to pick out whose voices I can hear and how Zoom like picks it all up. So unmute yourself, and on the count of 3, let's all say it together in unison. 1, 2, 3. Something good
Something
is
good is
going
going
to
to happen
happen
to me.
to me.
Something
Something
good
good
is
is going to
going to
happen
happen
to
for
me.
me. Whoop, whoop.
Geared up when I hear it all. I hear all you beautiful voices that we have here. Even Jada driving, he was still doing it. He was knocking it out. So let us get into I'm going to ask you 3 questions. I'm going to ask you 3 questions. For those who can write down these 3 questions, these are the things I'm going to ask you at the end of today's message on what resonates with you. We're going to start with these 3 questions, and we're going to end with these 3 questions. The first question I want you to think about is, what kind of life do I want to lead? What kind of life do I want to lead? The second question, Stephanie, is, who are the people I want in my life? Who are the type of people I want in my life? And the third question for you, Wendy, is this. What are my standards for reaching the goals I have? What are the standards for reaching the goals that I have? So for those of you, we will put it in the link here, one of my favorite books, The Power of One More. And instead of going with my other M of Maxwell, today we're going to Milet. And this is one of the chapters out of Milet is one more inconvenience. One more inconvenience. And how today's message came about all is I was reflecting. Bryce got up early and I was just like, what am I going to talk about today? And so sometimes, if you can see behind me, I go to my knowledge shelves, which are all the books that I've read. And I started to kind of go through the books, and I was just saying to myself, all right, God, what message do you want me to share today? Where is it going to be? And this book came about. And then when I opened up the book, I said, what topic are we going to talk about? And I skimmed through some of them, and then all of a sudden, inconvenience came up. Inconvenience. How many of you have been inconvenienced before? Put me in the chat. Put me in the chat. Emmy, if you've been inconvenienced in some form, in some way of your life, you have been inconvenienced. And is it fair to say, yes or yes, that when you're inconvenienced, it's not usually exciting? It's not like, damn, why is this happening? This is a real inconvenience. Why is this traffic jam happening right here? This is an inconvenience. How come at the grocery store, right before I get in line, the self-checkout decides to go kaput? That's an inconvenience. All of a sudden, Bryce yesterday decided that he was going to go run in the mud right before we had to go to an event. That was an inconvenience. Am I talking to somebody right now about inconvenience, right? And Martin Luther King says in Inconvenience, he stated the following. He says, the ultimate measure of a man, I'm going to say person, we're going to keep it person, got to get both sides here. The ultimate measure of a person is not where he or she stands in the moment of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at the times of challenge and controversy. I'm going to say it again, and I want you to really lean into this. And I want you to think about yourself and your personal character of you. The ultimate measure of a person, of you, Rebecca, of you, John, of you, Christian, is not where you stand when things are blissful, when things are comfortable, when everything's going so well. I just got my paycheck, my bills are paid, relationships are good, my kids got all A's on the report card. The yard's watered, the car's clean, the house is clean. It is not in that moment, but it is in the moment where you stand in times of challenge and controversy. I'm going to give you 5 things today pulled from this chapter. The first one is convenience and greatness do not coexist. Convenience and greatness do not coexist. And when you really think about it all, when you really go into and reflect on it, I haven't met anybody saying to me, you know what, I'm so excited. I set my alarm an extra hour early to get up early this week because I just feel like so excited to get up early because what happened is I don't have enough time in the day. So I figured I'd just get up an hour early. No big deal, right? I mean, it's not going to be a problem. I'm so excited. And you know what? I'm still going to stay up late to watch my shows. I haven't had anybody have these type of conversations. Nobody usually calls me up and says, hey, Brock, my morning routine's perfect. I'm thinking about getting up a little bit earlier now. Right? Those things don't happen. Because why? Getting up early is an inconvenience to ourself. Meaning like it doesn't feel comfortable. I'm tired. It's a Monday. I'm not really geared up, ready to rock and roll. It's that inconvenience of that alarm clock. It says this. If you don't inconvenience yourself and confront the difficult things in front of you, you'll have no chance at ending up where you want to be in life. Now that sounds kind of mean, doesn't it? That sounds a little mean. Like, what do you mean, Brock? You're telling me that if I don't get up early, I'm not going to amount to anything? Well, not necessarily. But I will say this, that if you're struggling with time management, if you're struggling throughout your day, if you're not mapping out your day and putting your calendar in place, you probably are one of those that are rushing in the morning, probably not able to get to the gym, probably not able to get your whole calendar prepared. Are you one of those that the day is running you, or do you run your day? Probably talking to somebody now. Brock, I just never have enough time in the day. Brielle said the other day, she came in, I was like, how was school? And she goes, Dad, it was a long day today, a long day. I was like, oh, a long day. What'd they do? Did they throw in an extra hour or two in the school day? I'm going to talk to your teachers. Did they do that? I cannot believe somebody threw an extra hour. What was it, in the morning, or did they do it in the afternoon? Dad, that's not what I'm talking about, Dad. How many of you said it's a long day? How many of you said to yourself, well, it's a long day today, real long day? It really wasn't a long day. It was just you had multiple inconveniences through your day that threw you off, and you never could get yourself back on track, because my mindset was, because I had one or two problems, the rest of my day was shot. Eric Thomas says this, you never have a bad day, you have bad moments of the day. And then we either carry them through the entire day, or those of us who've been able to pivot quickly, absorb it and get right back. I'm going to say it again, absorb it and get right back. Those inconveniences are just a part of life, which brings me to number two. Number two is embracing inconvenience as a way of life. As a way of life. I wish I could tell you right now, I wish I could tell you that you're not going to have any more inconveniences the rest of your life. No matter how much money you have in your bank account today, or lack of money in your bank account, or no matter how great your blissful relationship was that you had this past weekend, maybe you and your significant other and your kids, it was amazing. Is it fair to say that there's probably no inconvenience coming at some point? And if you don't feel that, then you're probably struggling, or your dreams and your goals are. How many of you just know some people that, man, they seem like they got it all together? They seem like they are just good. When I was thinking about this morning, I was like, I know a couple people that, like, they just do enough to get by. They just do enough to get by. Nothing too crazy. I mowed the yard. I edged the yard. I blew the yard. But God forbid that they might throw an extra mulch here or there. They might do extra pine needle. They're not going to go the extra mile to do the little things. Stated this, I underline this. If you want fulfilling and blissful experience to exist, you must embrace inconvenience as a way of life. It's just part of life to become on a successful journey. It's just part of it. I wish I could say that it was going to be simple. I wish I could say this was going to be easy. I wish I could say the rest of you today will have any inconvenience. It's just part of it. Let me go on to number three. Number three is when you live a life of inconvenience. When you live a life of convenience, you are at odds of living a life of greatness. I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to give you an example of this. When you live a life of convenience, you are at odds of living a life of greatness. Now, put a 2 in the chat if you've been on vacation. Put a 2 in the chat if you've been on vacation. Let's just get excited. Let's think about our previous vacation. Let's think about a fun vacation. Maybe let's think about one that we're going on. is it fair to say, yes or yes, that majority of time when I'm on a vacation, we don't have too many inconveniences? Is it fair to say when we go on vacation, we try to reduce as many inconveniences as we can? Is it fair to say that sometimes we'll even spend more money to have reduced inconveniences? Meaning, I'll pay for the valet parking because I don't want to try to find a parking spot. I'll pay for a bellhop to take care of my luggage so I don't have to be inconvenienced to try to find my room so I can go tour around the hotel. Is it fair to say that I pay for room service so I don't have to like try to find where I want to eat when I'm hungry? See, inconveniences don't really happen on vacation. But do we live a life of vacation as much as we would want to? Some of us probably get bored. I know I probably would get bored. But we don't live a life of a vacation. If we lived a life of vacation, is the chances of us reaching our dreams and our goals probably like reduced? Because when you're on vacation, I mean, I gotta believe we're just trying to enjoy ourselves and just and have fun and relax. But we're really not putting ourselves in any inconvenience to be able to earn more money. Most of the time on vacation, are we spending or earning money? Hopefully, if we do it correctly, we're doing both. We're setting up, we're talking to the financial gurus on here and the Christians and the Chads and the Johns. They put our money to work while we're sleeping. But that's putting money away, which is an inconvenience. Is it fair to say that most people don't put money away because of just the inconvenience of being like, but I want to spend that money? It's an inconvenience for me to live off of 40% of my income. What do you mean? That's an inconvenience. I can't get what I want to get. We do this. We often create processes. Underline the word processes. We create processes to avoid inconvenience and conflict. How many of us know a route? I mean, you say route or route. When we're traveling someplace, you're like, you know what? It's going to be heavy traffic. I'm going to reroute my direction because I don't want traffic to be what? An inconvenience. See, we know how to do this. And we do this with our dreams and our goals. I'm going to go back to alarm clock. Boy, I really would like to wake up earlier. Let's just be honest with us. Let's just be honest right now. Put a 6 in the chat if you wish you could wake up just maybe 15 minutes earlier. Put a 6 in the chat if you wish if I could just get up 15 minutes earlier, it might let me do my Bible reading. It might let me have another sip of coffee and meditate. Put a 6 in the chat if that feels anybody on there. Rebecca's like, no way now. I'm perfectly fine with my time. Amy Kane smiling over there. But see, our process we adjust our process for convenience, just like we do for vacation. But that's we purposely do that because we don't want to have any inconveniences during the time period. Number 4, why in the world do we need inconvenience in life? Number 4 is a question. Why do we need inconvenience? There's a significance of understanding this, that we understand that inconvenience, there's a difference between inconvenience and problems. Okay, so I'm not trying to say like, don't run from this or whatever else, but there's a difference. One of the books here that he has about all I really need to learn was in kindergarten. Anybody ever read that book? I find it very true. But he says this, he goes, life is lumpy. And a lump in an oatmeal, a lump in the throat, and a lump on the breast are not all the same lumps. They're all different. See, you have to understand, if you talk to me, about IRS debt, if you talk to me about DSS, you talk to me about addiction, you talk to me about financial burden and impact, I probably say, it's not too bad. Well, Brock, you don't understand. I said I was $17,000 in debt. Yeah. I was $153,000 in debt, about to go to jail. So that situation is not as magnitude as much as mine. But you know what? Steve Harvey was $3 million in debt with the IRS. And you know what? I don't want his problem. But if I had told Steve Harvey my problem or my inconvenience, he'd be like, that's not really a big problem. The problem, this is the most important thing. The problem exists in between this and this based off of previous experiences that we had as a person. If I went around the room and asked everybody about their biggest problem, this is what we did in AA meetings, I thought I had a big problem. Not to say that my problem wasn't big, but I never put a shotgun in my throat and held it and counted down. But standing next to a guy who did that, I was like, damn, that gave me a different perspective about his inconvenience he was going through. See, we're all going to have inconveniences, all. But the moment that we understand it as a way of life and that we work around other people or surround ourselves in the right environment, some of our problems really aren't problems. Even with the lump on their breast, there's people on here who've probably had breast cancer, who've gone through, have know somebody who had it, but recovered and been able to work through it. Maybe they lost a breast, but you know what? We're here on this planet. God's not done with you yet. So it's all about that inconvenience and what you grow through. So I want you to write this note down. We grow through all of our inconveniences. We grow through all of our inconveniences. I've never met a millionaire, an extremely successful person, and say to me, you know what, Brock, I had no inconveniences. It was a smooth sailing. It was the easiest pie, easiest $1 million I've ever made in my entire life. They actually say your first million is your hardest. After that, it gets a little bit easier. I'm still in that first part. Getting there, though. And number 5. This one's going to be a tough one. Because it's going to be like, wait a minute. Seek inconvenience in relationships. Seek inconvenience in relationships. I haven't met even my parents at 47 years of marriage tell me that their marriage was 100% zero inconveniences. Our relationships, there's several of you on here that I've had some strong conversations with, but it's made us closer. It's made us tighter. My biggest challenging times, my biggest inconveniences when I was working, when I'm telling Rebecca, guys, if you're looking for a good coach, you need to call Rebecca because she has a very unique way of putting you in your place in a very nice way. But you need that because when you are expressing yourself, you're expressing inconveniences. A coach's job is to take your inconveniences and share with you either the ownership and a plan. Okay? My inconvenience of my taxes, I have nobody to blame but myself. The IRS didn't pick me out of a crowd, be like, you know what, let's go after that guy. It's very important to understand that I highlighted it, I even underlined it. Where's Colin? I highlighted and underlined. Recognize the difference between someone who takes time to talk to you when they have free time versus somebody who frees up their time to talk to you. I'm going to say that again. Understand the difference between someone who takes time to talk to you when they're free versus somebody who frees up their time to talk to you. I say many times, I hear people say, Brock, you're busy. Brock, you're so busy. I didn't want to call you. I didn't want to bother you. No, my job is a coach. My job is in real estate. When you call me up and you're trying to negotiate or offer, that's not an inconvenience. That's an opportunity. If I didn't want the job, if I didn't want the position, I resigned from coaching. Your coaching problems, your challenges they're not on a schedule like, oh, I think he's free now. Let me give him a call. If you waited for me, it would never happen. I'm probably 95% of the time, if you put it in my schedule, I will do everything I can to make it work with you. It's important to understand that when you're around people, do they free up their time to be with you? This same applies to a relationship with God. In our faith, I used to just pray to God when things were bad. That was part of my process. God, I need this now. I need this now. Gotta have this. This is taking place. I started to change my process that I talk to God, not only when it's convenient for Brock, but when it's inconvenient for Brock. My conversations with him are on convenience and inconvenience. Sometimes we share more during our inconvenience time than our convenience time. And that's the difference between the gratitude and having conversations of gratitude during our convenient time period. So I told you I would conclude with these 3 questions. What kind of life do I want to lead? One that is easy peasy, no problems whatsoever, or one that I share with you my adversity, I share with you my problems, I share with you my inconvenience and how I solved them and how I overcame them. How are you leading? Who are the people you want in my life? Who are the people that you want in your life? Do you want people that you can look up to? You see what they're doing? I say many times, go find the people who are doing what you want to do and talk to them. Be around them. Hear about how many times they've been inconvenienced. The number of inconveniences. And last but not least, what are my standards for reaching the goals I have? And I wrote down this. Do you lower your goals and soften your dreams to make your life convenient? Are you lowering your goals and softening your dreams to make your life convenient? How many of you are going to look at your in the real estate world? I want to do 48 transactions. I want to do 24 transactions. I want to do 50 transactions. And our first quarter really wasn't good. You know what? Maybe my goal was too big. Maybe I need to reduce it. See, we're more prone to change our goals than change our strategies. We're more willing to reduce our inconveniences to make a convenient life, and we live off of the bare bones. We live paycheck to paycheck or whatever it might be. You know what? I guess we don't need to go on that vacation. I guess we don't need to go to Colorado and go skiing this fall. We don't need to go we don't need to be on the beachfront. You know what? We can be 4 blocks back and we can just walk. We start to justify and come up with excuses in our heads to be able to do what we wanted to do. We reduce our goals and our dreams because of the inconvenience that's increased. So I challenge you all today to really reflect on those. I say many times, praying is talking to God, meditating is listening to him. Ask these 3 questions to yourself and listen to what comes inside your brain, inside your head, inside your mind. All right, all. It is 8:46. Brio's telling me I got to rock and roll. I got to rock and roll and drop her off. If you got anything out of today, put a 5 in the chat. Put a 5 in the chat. If you want the show notes, put show notes in the chat. We'll get the show notes out. We'll be on the Brock Zevan's Mindset Motivational Coaching page, Facebook page. As always, subscribe to my YouTube channel. All the recordings are in our YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button so that way you don't miss one of these amazing leaders who are speaking throughout the week, as well as some of my coaching tips that I have as we enter into the spring market. And our prime time to sell is next month, though. Next month, buyers and sellers, real estate agents. So be ready to rock and roll. Roll up your sleeves. So subscribe to those channels. Guys, thank you so much. We have Mr. Chad Free here tomorrow as well. I will be in the Lake Norman area doing social media for real estate agents to help increase your business on social media. Lunch and learn, 11:30 to 12 o'clock, fill up your bellies, and 12 to 1, strategies to be able for real estate agents to use social media to a higher level to get more listings. Appreciate y'all. Be back tomorrow morning, 8:15 Eastern time. Bring a friend with you. Bring a friend with you. Subscribe to our channels. See ya.